So, hi back again. We come to my third tutorial about blendering, and today we make something with the modifiers. And the modifiers, we have four sorts of them. For modifying self, the generate, the deform, and the simulation. Today we make it with the generate. We begin with array. That means we have an object. We take something that is more detailed, so you see what I mean. We take Suzanne. Suzanne is every time good. It's the yeah, it's the monkey from Blender. So okay, we had Suzanne. When you saw that, oh moment, I make the screencast key so you can see what I type here. You see that? Okay. So Suzanne is in there, and we want to speak about um, the modifiers. The modifiers. This is an array modifier. An array modifier is that he takes the one object that you clicked before, selected. When it's yellow around, it's selected. And now I can say here that is the modifier panel. And here I can add much modifiers, and I can make under them another modifier and so on and so on. Much modifiers, you can combine them, yeah. But we want the array modifier now. So we see here we have two Suzannes. We make three Suzannes, and so on. And they go from left to right because we have here in our x-axis we have a 1. That tells the computer that the x-axis should be used for the array. So when we make it to 0, there's nothing. When we take it in the epsilon, you see it goes in the deep. Suzanne is then behind Suzanne, and you can change it here when you make it higher or less. The same is logic with the z-axis. You see Suzanne is on the top of the other Suzannes, and you can also change that. And when you want that it go straight and to the side, you make both. So you have it goes to back and to the top. And when you want more, make more, feel free. You see, and you can change that all here in the values. For the first time, that is enough to know this. Later, there will be more fine values that you can take to build things here with the array modifier. But I think for the start, this is very enough. Yeah, when you want 60, you make 60, or we make it better. You can combine. I told you. Oh, that's 660. Oh, that's much. So you can combine them. So when I have an array here and I make another array down there, then I can combine them. So we try that now. And when we go in the minus, in the, you see, minus, yeah. Then the movement, the axis would go in the negative one. And we can combine them. So these 6 or so work together with the 4, and so on and so on. You can take all there and give them some other places to be, but for the start it's very simple to work with that. It's good for all. What you need to duplicate in each direction. For that is the array modifier. You can make them smaller here. You make the details less or details there. You can take them out so we don't see the first one, only the second one. Now it's with the first one. You can change the position of a modifier by this one. You can take them down and you see it's another. It's very important to make the right following steps for modifiers. When you have that one before that must be at the end, then you have a problem. Yeah, you become failures then, errors. So, but we see that all later. And don't matter about this whole shit here. It's like every time for before. It's advanced. You know now simple things, and I can tell you I don't need more because it's not so important. The other card. The other things it's to make it easier for professionals. Yeah, it's the special stuff. But I don't need that. So, yeah. We come to the next modifier. Sorry, must drink something. So, bevel. Beveling is bad to show it to you on an ape. So we take quarter, a cube. A cube has sharp sides, you see. And these sharp sides you can make less sharp. And that is the bevel. Bevel is to make sharp edges rounder. You see that? It's rounder. Here you can say how much rounder, how much cuts in there. That is the segments. When you make it high, it's really round. But you can take it less because you have the smooth modifier. Here under the tools, the smooth. You can only use it in the object mode, important. Then you see it's round 2. And you don't need so much segments. Because, you know, it costs words to make it heavier than more words. Okay, so we go back that you can see that better. Then are there the wideness, you can say how big is the roundness of every edge. So you can make a ball with that when you want, yeah. Okay. Profile I never used. I don't know anything about that. How I told you, the much things here are not important. Yeah, it's for the profis to make it faster than everyone because they know that. I don't need to know that, so I don't use it. Okay, so we go up. These other methods are new from the new planner version. I don't know everything about them. The only important thing is to know you can this modifier, this bevel modifier, not every time works fine. So I prefer when I want to bevel something that I make it in the edit mode. You can go there with tab, you see, tab. So and change the edges that I want to bevel, and then I press Control and B, that is the bevel, but in rear mode. Now you can drag and drop from left to right your mouse, yeah, and then you roll the mouse wheel, the middle mouse wheel, and you can make the cuts between there. And so you have easy to change some edges to round stuff. So when we want to make this whole over top, then we click that, Control B, make the place where it should work, and then the wheel to cut them down. So it's very easy to create roundness structures. Important is nothing in the real is really so sharp like it is in Blender. So use that, but not too much. Think about the words. More different places here is more words, and more words makes your computer slow, and your animation or what you want to make with that makes them slow. So don't use the modifier bevel, make it like I do with Control B in the edit mode, yeah. But you must change before which one you want to bevel. You can bevel them all, but you can bevel them part by part. Okay, so hope you understand that. We go on with a Boolean. Boolean isn't terrible thing. Normally it is to cut or combine objects. So we had this object and we need another object to work with the Boolean. So we take a mesh, a cylinder. Where is this? There. Okay, we see it's on the wrong direction and wrong axis. It's the x-axis. We must rotate them. So I press R and X and 90 degrees, so it's in the front. Now I take the arrows to place them. Look with the numpad. I can look it from the top, from front, from the right. Last time I say that. Okay, and then I press S, scale, and move the mouse so I see how great it is. So I can't see it here because it's in that, so I draw them out. Okay, so we see a Boolean can cut. So we must go to this other object. We see we must make it longer in the y-axis. So we scale the y-axis. So you see the one object goes to the other. And when we cut out that from that, then we need a Boolean. The most people say don't use Booleans any time because when you cut the Boolean, you have a problem that in your model normally it's all have 4 words, 1 cube, 1 plane. But when you cut out with Boolean, there comes triangles in your polygons. And that is a problem with the shading later for make it glossy or class or something else. So the real way to make this one is to build first the hole and then build that be out of this hole. So normally is the best way to do that, but I want it fast. So I use Boolean, and I have normally no problems with that. But you must know that what's best, and what I do is not every time the best, but it works. Okay, so we want to cut out this object. So we take here the modifier, but we must know what's the name from this object. So we click right there, and we see the name is cylinder. Okay, so we need this cylinder with a boolean on this object. So we click on the original object and take the boolean modifier on them and say we want to cut out the cylinder. Now you wonder why it's gone. It's about the operation. We now have select intersect. Intersect is he got the middle of that, but not with the outside of that. So you can change it here. Union is to make both together. Difference is to let them be, but cut this one out. So you know it from school, yeah, it's the same. Okay, we want to cut out, so take difference, and this object should be cut out of that object. So apply that. Now we can select the old one and drag them back, and we see we have a hole in an object. Oh, you think, oh, wonderful, that's nice stuff. But I told you there are three angles now. When you go in the edit mode now, we tap, you see now we have no more right topology. In this case, it's not so important. But when you cut out Suzanne, then you have many cuts there, yeah. And that makes high the word count and the shading failures or errors. So normally you must build first the circle and then build the rest. That's the right way to do that. I do that with the cuts. Now you ask, yeah, why? Yeah, because of the shading failures. But I think the newest versions from Blender, when you smooth there, I have it. That is flat one, and when I make it smooth, you see there are some cuts. That is a bad shading, and that comes from this boolean. When you don't want that, make it like I told you before. Or there is some trick, but it's no good trick. I say it, but I make it sometimes. So we take another modifier, the edge split modifier. He does. Now you see there is no failure in there. Now it's perfect. When I make them out, you see there's a failure. Within, there's no failure. That cuts off the smooth animation for this angel that you give there. When you don't have an angel, then you have problems. So you can change it here about which level the boolean should work or not work, and it should the edge split work. So, but the problem on this all is when you apply the edge split modifier, then you have not 707, you have 840. That is in this model no problem. But when you have a big model, then you make that. The words is the double like before. The most people say don't apply modifiers. Okay, that's right. When you make games also, it's not needed to apply modifiers. You can have here 5 modifiers that all work, and your model looks wonderful, but it is not safe. Yeah. when you apply that, then it's given to this object. It is now so like you build it. Okay. So that is this step. We now know the array, the bevel, the boolean, and the add split. The build modifier is normally not so important, but I show it to you. We take Suzanne, make build modifier there. Susan is gone because this one makes Suzanne to different faces and animate them to build the whole object or debuild them. So you only can see that when you, here's a timeline, it's called timeline. You see that here, timeline. That is this window here. And this window you can make animations also and the build is an animation, but a Blender intern version of that. So when we make play here, you will see Suzanne appears slowly. And here you see the actual frame. There the animation is. We start with animation key 1, that's here, and go to the end to 250. But you see the modifier only works from 1 to 100. So there is finish. So we can type here 100 and then we have only this where the modifier works. So you can make that Suzanne starts later or viewer like you want, or that it is reversed from the whole object to less object. You can say with randomize, then the parts go on random. You can make there the seats, how many seats are necessary to build them or debuild them. Okay, I think it's enough to know when you want to stop this animation. You make this pause here. Then you can normally work like before. You ask why in the edit mode Suzanne is complete and in the object mode is so. Because that modifier is not applied. That what you see is that with the modifier, but the object hasn't changed because you haven't applied. When you apply, then it's a real one. So, okay. So now is Decimate. Decimate is a very heavy generated modifier. It is to make when you have too much words, an object has too much words, then you can unsubdivide them. When you got an object that has many words, that are less words, but you can make them lesser when you take unsubdivide and make the iteration grow up, then the words goes down. The face count is less. On this model it doesn't work because it's not detailed enough with some subdivision or something, so you can't see that. But this modifier is for make less faces words to make them, but then it looks not so good like before. It's logic. Okay. So we come to the next one. Mask, it's advanced stuff. Mirror is very important because everyone needs a mirror to build high poly objects. but I think I talked too long now. So we make a cut here and see us in the next session. So, thank you. Bye.